For the better part of my career, more than 20 years, I've been a corporate girl in supply chain management and logistics or classical marketing. But come 2020, COVID and the Great Reset, I got an opportunity to work in a non-profit organization which was helping young unemployed people to be able to break out of that trap of unemployment by connecting them with their first employment opportunity, allowing them to build experience, build that reference letter, and then move on to bigger opportunities. My name is Nkomo, and in this season of my life, my ambition is to help the emerging social entrepreneur to be able to flatten that learning curve, scale up their projects, and deliver more impact quicker than ever before. Join us on the NPO Bootcamp as we show you how to level up your social enterprise. Hi there, podcast family. We're delighted to have you join us for another insightful session of the NPO Bootcamp, this time featuring Lemo Nkomo. She grew up in the supply chain management industry just like me, and a couple of years ago, I had the good fortune of working with her, although for a short season. Hi, Lemo, and welcome.
Hi, Pala. I'm excited to be here and thank you for having me.
What a pleasure. So let's go right to the beginning, Pala, of our very long-term and committed relationship. What do you remember from our time together at P&G, and what were the highlights for you?
Okay. I think I must just mention that the first time I met you was during the time when Gillette and P&G were actually integrating. And Komzo was at Gillette. Komzo is my friend, so she was at Gillette. So now Gillette was coming over to P&G, and as they were coming over to P&G, there was this whole scare about the integration, and there were like big egos. Gillette is big, P&G is big. We are $8 million business, and everybody was just like working on egos. And then when I met you, Komzo was like, no, she's my friend. She's married to muscles. And when we met, we were just like, oh, hi. I just loved how you occupied the space and your presence, because it was coming as if the Gillette people were coming into a space where they are being bought. But I appreciated how you came in and owned your space. Yeah, I'm from Gillette and we're just integrating. And you've got your skills, we've got our skills. It's an integration. So yeah.
Wow. I don't remember that, but it makes me feel so good. I don't remember that particular interaction, but of course I do remember that time frame when Gillette had been acquired by P&G, and we were all sussing each other out and like, wow, thank you for that. That's really, really awesome. Okay, so I didn't stay long after that integration. I think I left in 2007. What about you? How much longer did you stay at P&G?
So thank you for asking the question, Pala. Yes, you left in 2007. Actually, that's the year I got married. I got married in March, and you actually came to my wedding.
I remember your wedding in Zeerust.
In Zeerust.
Oh my goodness, that was my first time in Zeerust.
You see? And I told people from that time that I'm going to put Zeerust on the map. So the wedding was the first thing, and we'll talk about it later.
So this has been a systematic plan.
I'm always planning like that.
Okay.
Right? I'm a logistics person.
Okay.
So I joined P&G in 2005, coming from Spoornet. Yes. I know they call it something else.
Transnet.
No, Spoornet, because Spoornet is the rail section of Transnet.
Yeah, it's Transnet Freight Rail.
It's Freight Rail now.
Yes.
Yeah. So I came in from Spoornet. I'm still going to call it Spoornet. And I joined Procter & Gamble. I must say that Procter & Gamble was the beginning of my career, because I was at Spoornet and I said to my father, who I'm very dead to, I'm sure you will hear me talk about him a lot. And I said to him, I need a challenge. Spoornet was just not doing it for me. And when I got to P&G, I said to him, I got my challenge. I've arrived. Yeah. Yes. So I joined P&G 2005. P&G was literally, I was there for 10 years. I left 2016.
Yeah.
It was literally where I was doing my lifeline the other day. So it was where my highs and the lows were experienced. So I came in there single, of course, skinny, and I'm still skinny. And then got married, 2 kids, both born when I was at P&G. They treated me like a queen. And my highlight at P&G was the fact that I was recognized. I felt valued. I felt appreciated. And also, it was the thing about how they always talked about the values and the PVPs. Yes. The principles,
values, and what's the other P?
It will go. It always happens like
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So it's about the principles and the values and the purpose.
Oh, their purpose. Right.
Yes. And how the people were the greatest assets. And I progressed very well in my career. Like I started from a supply planner, just coming in, from university until I went all the way to band 3, which was almost like a director level. And
Yes.
And I suppose the thing is that the highlight was the fact that I started my life there and I started my career there and I started feeling like, what, I can contribute something. And I was valued. And I moved very fast in my career. And I always then got the exposure to go overseas, which was the thing for me. Because again, my father always said, you need to be exposed. So every time I would travel, he would be like, yes, this is what I'm doing. And also the other part is that, I'm from a very traditional Christian background. Then I got an Egyptian boss. And my father met my Egyptian boss.
Mom, why Taha?
No, Amr Davish.
Don't know him.
Yes, Amr Davish. My best boss ever. And when my father met him, it felt like we are reading the Bible, guys, like that Egypt moment.
Why? Because he's Islam.
Yes, he's Egyptian. So for my father stood there and he said, he was so honored. Actually, even Amr himself, he was so honored to meet my father. He was like, this is a real chief. This is a real man. Like, not in a derogatory manner.
Right.
Like, he recognized him. But for my father, it was just like, my child works with an Egyptian.
Oh, like, isn't the Egyptians in the Bible?
Yes.
Okay. The pharaohs.
The pharaohs.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. So it was all those experiences for me.
And
the appreciation of being given the opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
Continuously grow. Like, I got a chance to grow, to think differently, to think out of the box, to be able to make decisions, to be able to come up with ideas, work with people, and it was about the spirit. We always said that our blood is blue. I love that company.
Pala, you just bring back so many memories. I was talking about it with Fumagezi on another podcast, and now when you're talking about thinking differently, I remember when I got given my letter of appointment when I was joining KNG. I joined in marketing, right? And the marketing director at the time was a British guy, Mark Tilsley. So when he was giving me my letter of appointment, I read it and I see there's no starting time. So remember, I come from logistics. I've been working in the warehouse, in airports and that kind of thing. So we clock in and we clock out. So now they're not telling me when to clock in and clock out. So I asked Mark Tilsley, so what time does work start? So he looks at me, he's like, what time do you want to start? And I'm like, who's running this thing? So I look at him and I'm not, it's a proper goldfish moment. I'm like, are you really asking me what time do I want to come to work? He says to me, I don't know, what do you do in the morning? Is there a gym class that you want to go to? You can go to gym and then come to work. Well, okay, if you work at work by 9, it's fine. I was like, yeah, but nah, this is such a different culture altogether. Because we are not managing the mundane, what time you arrive at work. We are managing your deliverables and your development and all these other things that matter. Not what time did you arrive in the office. So for me, that was already like, this is a different kettle of fish. Right. So you left PNG after 10 years to go where?
2016. So in my journey, then I picked up a few things. My name means consciousness, awareness, realization.
Oh my goodness.
So my dad passes away in 2013.
Okay.
And as he passed away in 2013, I then have this moment of, I've always wanted to be a coach, a mentor, self-development has always been my thing. But at the same time, it was coming from the heart. And at the same time, my parents are teachers, principal and teacher. And I always had that thing that from logistics, I am going to go into personal development.
Stop. We have a problem here because you talk fast and I talk fast, but I need us to go back. Remind us what your name means again, Lemo Nkomo.
Okay, my name is Lemo Nkomo.
Yes.
It means realization, awareness, or consciousness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my older brother is Kilemukidi. So I've realized. So now you all realize.
Okay. Your parents were deep.
Very deep.
Okay. Okay, so let's carry on to the moment where you now have this realization and awakening within yourself that you want to be a coach.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I've always loved understanding human minds and developing people, like being empathetic, you know. And then I was like, but I want to be a coach and a mentor. So I thought that PNG would then allow me the opportunity maybe to move into the HR or something like that.
Okay.
Yes. And it didn't work out.
Okay.
But then also at that time, I was also...
What didn't work out? The move?
The move, yes.
Okay.
To say, you know what, I had reached my ceiling in terms of the logistics. I had done it. By the time when I had my first 2 kids, I planned it to say, CPS, critical path schedule, budget process thing. Got married 2005.
Yeah.
2007.
Yeah.
You're gonna start having, I joined 2005. 2007, get married, and then it's like it's critical path schedule. When are you gonna have the child? The child's gonna be in 2009, and then the other one is gonna be in 2011.
And no deviations allowed from the schedule.
None whatsoever. The bias must absolutely be zero.
Right.
And it went out exactly like that.
Okay.
So I'm a logistics person. I'm pushing. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm really developing a love for people, developing people. Natural transition. And then it was like, okay, fine. I could not move to another role. And then I said, okay, I'm actually okay to leave. And then I left PNG. Then I immediately...
Stop.
Yes.
That already there's a lesson, isn't it? Yeah. To be okay to leave. Because sometimes we feel we need to leave, but things are holding us back and we don't give ourselves permission to do that which we think we need to do. Boss move, girl. Okay, so now you decide it's okay to leave.
I always just was okay with leaving. And then you look at your circumstances and you like... And I was not even finding a job. I was not even applying. That was a funny thing. Like the last time I looked at my CV was when I joined PNG Tenet.
Oh my goodness.
So now I'm also like trying to think, I apply for another job. I'm like, where? It's just not adding up. But the most important thing is that I found my identity in there. I remember there was a time, the thing that cut it for me was when we were doing the culture training or something like that, diversity, and they presented about Ubuntu. And I was like, how do people come and present Ubuntu
to us, the original Bantus?
The custodians, if not the owners.
Yeah.
And it didn't sit well.
Okay.
So then
you decided what?
That's when I knew I had reached my identity moment to say, I'm in 2 worlds. And I need to do something that is more humane, that is more giving back. Yeah. Okay, then I left.
So you were not leaving to seek other employment, is what I'm hearing.
Actually, when I left, I immediately enrolled myself at Henley Business School, and I did my certificate in professional coaching.
Nice.
In 2017.
So we are a satisfied coach. We are certified.
So now, then I did that coaching thing, and then the rents and the things.
Stop there,
yes.
Because that was kind of one of the key milestones in getting you to this point. So take us through the coaching certification. How long that was, what it taught you.
Oh, wow. Actually, that one was amazing for me because I had said I want to be a life coach, right? But then I did not realize that actually that was a journey for me.
Nice.
So then I got immediately and I went and I enrolled at Henley. And I just loved Henley. And I just enrolled there, and I wanted to mention that, it cost me 68,000 rands.
From your own pockets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I attended, so it was 2016, 2017. It was like about a year or 6 months to a year. And then we did the whole write-up about reflections. You know, when we are writing, because it's reflections and then writing the assignments in the reflectory mode, and you go and coach other people. Do you know what came out for me then? What came out for me was that I am really not educated. Because I then realized that I thought I could write. Or I can speak. Now when I had to write, they even wrote in my final assessment, I got like the highest mark. I think I got like 85% or something like that. I got like a very high mark. But then at the bottom, because it's with the UK, and then they came back to say, just try and write English. Like,
what English is that? No, I'm offended.
Because why? Don't own it.
No. I'm offended on your behalf because I know where we come from and how we were taught how to write professional business documents. So now, how do you get there and fluff it up at Henley? I can understand.
But that's the part I'm trying to highlight, to say those were the things that came out for me. I all of a sudden realized that there was brand PNG, I was under brand PNG, and now I'm here and I'm myself. And now I have to be writing. I have to be, and remember PNG was always like, you are great, you are amazing. And then you get there and you are realizing, I'm writing the reflection. But this Englishman is like that one where we paid 150 for the whole year.
Okay.
But then I got the highest mark. It was actually 78%, yeah, because distinction is 75. And everyone was just like, you are such a great coach, right? And now I'm now trying to go into business and do life coaching. And then it then gets hard because you realize that the brand PNG is not, you are not the brand PNG, you are an individual.
Yeah.
But I still love coaching. But then Pala, I've got 2 kids. Then I was like, okay, fine. If this thing is not going to work out, I can actually go back and find another job while I do it on the side.
Okay.
Because it's with me.
Right.
Then I go back and I find, 2017, I go back and I go and I do, I went into Hilti.
Yeah, I know Hilti. They do industrial equipment. It's the red logo.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
From the moment I walked into Hilti, I knew I'm exiting.
Really?
First of all, it was not the PNG environment.
You know, PNG has struggled anywhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also then I started to remember, this is Ghana, by the way, this is how South Africa looks, feels, and smells. And I said, okay, I'm just going to work with it, but I knew I wasn't going to.
This is not a long-term commitment, this one.
Because remember, I want to be a life coach.
Right. But we're at Hilti because we're a mom and we got bills to pay.
We've got bills to pay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while we're figuring this thing out, the kids are still growing and they need shoes and.
And the kids needs a good school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got you.
2019, August, we parted ways. But
So you were there for how long?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I joined, then they asked me to join the distributor for L'Oreal. So,
Okay.
so then a friend of mine was pitching at L'Oreal for Mizani, and he needed a logistics person. So that was my first moment of doing organizational design, pitching,
Yes.
and putting a proposal together and going to present.
Yes.
When I was presenting there at L'Oreal, I was at PNG.
Yeah.
I hit it, man.
Yeah.
I hit it.
At the ballpark.
Yeah. And what I loved, Pala, which is going to come later in my story, was that Mizani means texture in Swahili.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Mizani, the relaxers and the sprays.
Yes, Mizani, its name means texture.
Listen to that.
It means in Swahili it's texture.
Right.
And it's all about African hair.
Yes.
So this is me. I'm an Afro girl. I'm conscious like that. And I fell in love with the brand. And what I liked most importantly about it is that it has class. So it's driven by education, and it has high margins, but it's about the education you do, to say you learn about natural hair, your pH balance, about texture, and how to take care of your hair. You see what I'm saying? So that elegance that says, I'm going to respect and love your hair. My Kel type is 8. And then, yes, it's the last.
After 4C,
Yeah.
my brain went tilt when I heard there's 4C here and I was like, what is that? I just now got an afro. So there's more after that.
So the last type is like this one. That one that they call whatever else we are call it. So then we found each other and we could relate with Mizani. And now what is it saying to me? You see, you're on the right track in terms of your identity, you finding yourself and you going into personal leadership and coaching others. And then the contract with Mizani then, they could not afford me. Let me just put it like that. Then 2020, okay, then was COVID stories. After COVID stories, then now training comes in. I've got this girl who I'm very close to, by the way. Then she said to me, no, I'm working for this company. She was consulting. So she says, oh, come and join us for project management and you'll do records management. Because she was like, no. You are like talent.
So we've not exited. Mizani is behind us.
Mizani is behind us, yes. And then now she's like, no, come and help us with the records management and with your supply chain background. Because we had framing conversations. And no, actually we can use you. Now I get introduced to the training world. So MIC CETA training world, and so I became a project manager and managing the whole records management.
In the CETA.
No, at the training company, but working with the MICT CETA.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Then my love for training and education was then cemented.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I even asked them, can I do facilitation for project management?
Right.
And then they said, sure. I'm like, yes. So they're like, no, you go ahead. So I did facilitation for the Department of Human Settlements.
You were in your element.
Yes.
What a journey. Okay. So then, are you still there?
No.
Okay.
Then, as I'm there, this is like the big one. Almost Black consciousness.
Yes.
Yes.
Like Steve Biko type Black consciousness.
Yeah, not like Steve Biko type, like, yes, the Steve Biko Black consciousness thing. Yeah. So my father was very Black conscious, right? And now,
Why do you say that? What about him makes you say that?
the way he was intentional about everything he did in his life. I'll show you a picture of him and my mother now. So he named us, all our names mean something.
Right.
Even when my son was born, he had a name for my son, and which is the name I'm using for my NPO.
Okay.
So he said,
Give us the name.
Human.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I was like coconut, and I was like, no, I've got my name. And he was very disappointed. But now I'm appreciating it more now that he's gone, and I'm like able to hold on to Human
Okay.
to his spirits.
Okay.
So anyway, so I then
You were talking Black consciousness.
Black consciousness, yes. Then in that training space, then we are all about project management and all. So now I get introduced to the Steve Biko Black consciousness setup. And then the guys called me, they're like, no, we are looking for people to run empowerment centers and all talking about consciousness and leading I and identity. And that time I was enrolled at UJ for a master's in MPhil in leadership.
Let's see.
Board. So now they're like, so we want to do empowerment centers in communities, and we thought as a life coach, you could be the person. So I was just like, so what is this about? No, they explained to me we'll be running empowerment centers in the communities, and the models will be like, for example, personal mastery, identity, and as we're talking there, within 3 months, the guy and I, we actually wrote the models, 6 months program.
So they were wanting you to be part of the setting up of the process,
The
developing.
organization.
What was the name of the organization?
It was new, National Unemployed Workers Union.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
So we came up with a flagship program called Unlocking Potential.
Right.
And Unlocking Potential, the modules are 6 months.
Yes.
Then first month is I am. We called it Umtu. And I said to them, everything can be personal. Can you find something to I'm very conscious.
The causes, they cannot be take over the country.
We are both going to lead together. Very amazing time. And so we wrote the modules. So the first module is Umtu, I am. It's focusing on who are you, identity. Now remember, consciousness. And now the second module is breaking limiting beliefs. So what we are saying is, what beliefs are you holding? And are they advancing you or moving you backwards? Now, this one is special because then it came and disrupted the I. Remember, I'm from Zeras, from a family of 5.
Where are you in the food chain?
I'm number 2.
Firstborn,
Secondborn.
secondborn girl. Who's in front of you?
Is my brother. So I've got 3 brothers and my little sister.
Okay.
But now I was the only girl for the longest of time. And I always tell the story that would be walking the 1, 2, 3, 4 before my sister came. And that's why I said my father was a visionary, because it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And they say, and my mom would cut my hair. And they say, boys.
No, I cannot.
I know, right? And then this lady said, So we're just like the 4 boys. Yeah. But yeah. But I love my father because he was always intentional about the fact that I needed to get educated. He never made me feel like I'm the girl.
No, it's not immediately that evident.
Okay.
Tell me why. He never made you feel like you were different to the boys.
Yes.
Did other families, or was that the culture or the thinking in the community?
I wasn't even aware of that now that you are even asking the question. But now that I have gone back, my father had never made me feel like, if anything, I believe that he was very intentional because he knew about how girls were being treated. So for him, it was that I've got 4 kids, they're all going to go to school.
And that's my point, Palani.
Yes.
Because you still get families where they prioritize educating the boy child.
Yes.
And not necessarily the girl child.
Yes. But my father was conscious like that.
Okay.
He never made me feel like, But of course, he never also made me like not drive and when he was standard, he was like, no child touches my car.
Yes.
No child. It was
That's my point.
Yeah.
Because sometimes unconsciously
Yes.
there are different rules for girls and boys.
Yes.
And boys might get away with certain privileges or get away with murder, get away with things that girls might not necessarily get away with. But in your family, it was that this is my child.
Especially
It is
when it
irrelevant
comes-
whether she's a girl or a boy.
especially when
I
it
love
comes
your
to
dad.
Yeah, especially when it comes to education.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that guy, little did I realize that, he was actually black consciousness in his or he was intentional about everything. My father would go and get a passport, and he'd tell you the night before, he says, tomorrow, like Zarias. He called me like Zarias. And tomorrow is that Zarias chance. Passport on one day, passport on. It would be like a thing.
Yeah.
The excitement. So he was excited, he was cheerful, he was happy to be alive, despite the circumstances around. So he was very intentional, even and focused.
So how we got to this point, you were saying that when you were going through the Mdu, it disrupted
Yes.
and it brought about your limiting beliefs that
Yes.
may have been created by the environment which you grew up in. That's where you were going.
Yes. So now in that writing of the module, then we are from a black family, principal and teacher, we have 5 religious, deep religious, like Seventh Adventism, like to the core. and then just that very principal focus, patriarchal hierarchy things. My father was very strict. He'd be the kind who tell you, I'll divorce you. My integrity means everything to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your dad will divorce you, his child.
Okay. If you deal with his integrity.
Okay.
So when you're walking, he used to say, when you're walking in the streets, you must know whose name you're representing.
Listen. Okay.
But anyway.
All right. So now this introspection, does that make you pick up any limiting beliefs that you've been carrying around?
I did a lot of them.
Are you prepared to share?
I'm prepared to share, but let me finish first the part about the movies.
Yes,
So
Lemo must finish.
Yeah.
Finish, Lemo.
They said I love power and control, and I said
Is that what they said? Okay, yeah, they were right.
yesterday. But you know what I love? My other mentor, my other leader said, do not be afraid of power.
Do not. Can I tell you what? This is like hectic digressing, but a couple of years ago, I did a course at Da Vinci. It was called the Senior Leadership Program. And it was so completely unorthodox from the start, just based on even who was facilitating it. It was a course that was written by an Afrikaans man called Lutando Prince Lu, who was an initiated Sangoma. I kid you not. His initial name, that Gedwip name, which his parents gave him, was, I forget, but it was like a proper Afrikaner name. But he was involved in anti-apartheid stuff and was in the townships, and the community that he was with is the one that gave him the name Lutando, and that became his running name. So in this course that he was talking, and it was talking about Africanism, and those kind of things. And the one thing which he kept on saying so many times, which stayed with me, is that own your power, but be gentle with your power. So I think we same WhatsApp group.
Exactly.
Keep going.
Yeah. Because they said, it just depends on how you're going to use it.
Yes.
Especially as the woman.
Yes.
So in the module, we do that. So it's a breaking limiting beliefs and going to thorough. I promise you, for the first time, understood, because I remember I did the MPhil at UJ.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we were talking about spirituality and the different practices and religion. It was for the first time, but it hit me that religion can be a limiting belief. That I got to understood religion versus Christianity versus spirituality. Then I went and I write what I like by Steve Biko, and the consciousness in me just oozed out.
Right.
Now, The third module focuses on then, now that you know who you are, your identity.
We are now back with the National Union Unemployed, and we are busy with the modules.
Yes, I'm
Got
just
it? Okay,
just
I'm still.
give you
I just wanted to make sure I'm still following you.
Yes.
Mhm.
And now, so it's now that I know who I am and what beliefs I hold, and if they're advancing me or taking me backwards, now, how do I then solve problems? So this is the design thinking, to say problem solving. What problem are you solving for? And what I loved about it was that to say, solve a problem in your community. Remember, coming from PNG, I came hit by that offensive moment of the Ubuntu presentation.
Oh, yes.
And my identity.
Yes.
And now I'm coming back, and now I'm solving for a problem. I'm getting an appreciation of who I am, because in PNG also, I just always felt like I'm in two worlds. When I'm in Joburg, I have to be like this coconut, and I'm not that. I don't want to be that. And I want to keep my African hair. But at the same time, there's this thing that we throw around. It's like the stigma that we had about people with dreadlocks. Remember when dreadlocks came in? Yeah. In our church, it was like the thing to say, these dreadlocks, even in the employment area, and we're very judgmental. And hence, I mentioned the part about strong Adventist and, at the same time, very conservative and coming from a village. So now you find that, so it's those modules, and we are now talking about breaking limiting beliefs. Then I get to understand religion. And I went and I studied about the history of our church.
Which church? The Seventh-day Adventist Church?
The Adventist Church. And I love learning most. There's a leadership program in our church called Master Guides. It's like a master's, literally. So it's like the highest level of the leadership training in the church. Brilliant program. So in that, now remember I've got the masters I'm doing the masters at UJ, and now I'm also doing Master Guides, and I'm also now in these modules. Then what am I picking as a thread? I'm picking that religion is the opium of the masses. I'm picking the meaning of colonization. I'm picking the meaning of demonizing Africanism. I'm picking what freedom means for us as Black people. I'm learning systems. I'm getting upset all over again to say, actually, I should not have left PNG. But the only reason I left PNG, it was an identity issue. I should have stayed in the room. But at the same time, I didn't want to stay in the room, because being in the room meant I was losing a part of me. Because when I was in Joburg, I'm staying in Ramsef.
Stop.
Yeah.
This is very packed. And let's reverse a little bit. You should not have left the room because
of the identity thing.
What should you have done instead?
So then it's one thought to say, if I then stayed there and then watch the economics, make sure that I still earn while I'm still conscious about being Black.
Okay, so now I'm sensing that you should have stayed in the room because you could have done something differently.
Now that I know.
Yes. What was that?
Yeah, now that I know, I should have stayed in the room and said, okay, fine, PNG is paying my salary, it's taking care of my bills.
Yeah.
But it does not mean that I have to convert in terms of my identity. I can still coexist with the system.
Okay.
But what did I do? I then pull out, and then when I pull out, what am I contributing to unemployment numbers?
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
But at the same time, I'm glad I left, because I was just like, I'm feeling like I'm losing myself. I'm staying in these two worlds of PNG and then
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not fitting in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. When did we bump into each other? It was at that conference
At
of
Gibbs.
No. When did I see you at Gibbs? Was it recently?
Yeah, the last year's one.
No.
No.
At that conference at the Manslow.
Yes.
And that's when you started talking to me about your lorry coaching.
Yes.
And what you were doing.
Yes.
And when you mentioned limiting beliefs,
Yes.
I was like, I need to stick with this girl, because I was in my mid to late 40s when I first learned about limiting beliefs. So I've been listening to people like Robin Banks on Mind Power and John DeMartini on your values. But it was Robin Banks, and John Kehoe, he has written the book called Mind Power. So Robin Banks facilitates Mind Power sessions, and he's the only one that's accredited in South Africa to facilitate that course. So I'm in my mid-40s and I'm hearing limiting beliefs. I'm like, Okay, so what is a limiting belief? Is it possible that I could have a limiting belief? So it's a journey of years that took me to realize I have a truckload of limiting beliefs. And then I start to understand where are they coming from in the area of money, in the area of so many different things. And I was like, look how this has been holding me back. And I'm today years old when I learned that there is such a thing. Surely this cannot be. When you told me it was young people, I was like, young people need to know about limiting beliefs, because limiting beliefs starts from when we're 4, 5, 6, 7. In the area of money, I've learned that your first memory around money is from when you're 5, 6, 7 years old. And that frames your perspective on how you're going to deal with money for the rest of your life. And unless you understand that there is a limiting belief and how to deal with it and get it out and replace an empowering belief with it.
And can I mention something?
Of course.
In that course, because it's broken down into 3. Limiting beliefs is...
Which course are we talking about?
The
modules.
The program, yeah.
Okay.
Limiting beliefs is the one where people break down the most.
Break down in terms of what?
Crying. Because people then start realizing the system. People then start realizing that I not only have these limiting beliefs, they were fed into me, religion, society, education, everything.
And here's the thing, the kicker with limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are set in motion by people in your environment that are authorities, people that you love, trust, honor, and respect, which is why it's so difficult to dismantle them. And I'm not going to cry now, Pala, because we got makeup on and it's expensive. But I get what you're saying, because you realize how these things have been driving you subconsciously for so long. And sometimes you've sabotaged so many different areas of your life. But I was like, I'm today years old. Young people must know about this much sooner than me, so that the trajectory of their life they drive. It's not a question of life by drift, but life by design. So let's go back to you.
So you are the director and the audience of your own life. Yes. And it's when you know the beliefs. And that's why we introduce, so that we don't keep them negative, because we've got limited beliefs. And the question you answer is, are they advancing me? Or are they taking me backward? Because you also don't want to then all of a sudden disrupt a person. Like I grew up an Adventist. Now you ask me, what is your limiting belief?
Are you still in the church level?
Very much so. I'm very much.
Stop, Lemo. I can still want to digress, but I don't want to digress. The modules, are we still talking about the national unemployed?
Yeah.
Which we haven't got to Lori coaching yet.
By the way, it's the same thing.
Okay.
I remember I started with coaching,
right,
and personal coaching 1-to-1,
right,
small groups, and then now the new part, which is now extended to human-to-man excellence,
right,
course of growth as well. Now it's part of the growth to say coaching was for small groups, and now let's move now into training.
Okay.
Expand.
Okay.
So we can go to that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I hijacked you when you were saying that in the limiting beliefs module, that's where people break down
They break down. Because they start realizing the impact of the system. We even go through 4 agreements and the attachments.
Yes. The 4 agreements is a book.
Yes.
Please just quickly, because I know you like to make sure we got give us the 4 agreements, please. Because I think it is so important and it's so relevant to this conversation.
I've not looked at it in a long time.
But you know what they are.
I do.
Tell us what they are.
No.
Oh, you don't want to?
No.
Okay, let's keep moving. What do you want to talk about?
No, we are fine. I'm just saying that I need to. I'm a logistics person. Yeah, I didn't prepare that.
No problem.
Yes.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Sometimes like that. Yes, but anyway, I'll get back to them. So then it looks at the power of understanding that it does not necessarily mean that this is wrong, which is what you pick in religion, right? As an example. Then is it wrong? Is it right? And that's where we get stuck. Is it wrong? Is it like, for example, for us, it's like you have to go to church on Sabbath, every Sabbath. Yeah, but so we've got these limiting beliefs, and you have to answer if they're advancing you or taking you backward. So that you can actually, and when you ask me the question about if I'm still going to church, I am, because those limiting beliefs have now made me realize the value of the Sabbath rest. Because now I understand them from a perspective of not compliance, from the love of why I'm here. Okay. Now I understand exactly what the Sabbath rest is about. And now which goes into consciousness, to understanding, to say it's about the inner man.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now, Yeah. So now we move to the last module. So remember now the thing that we are really solving for is what? We are really solving for unemployment.
Okay.
Program.
Right.
To say you understand yourself, you've got limiting beliefs, but what skills and competencies do you have? Now that's where the experience of PNG comes in and the exposure. To say, let us use design thinking. Design thinking is basically to say, yeah.
You said design thinking is the third module.
Is the third module.
Okay.
Solving a problem in your community.
100%.
So now, where the youth now can go into their communities and then solve for a problem, and that's entrepreneurship activation. Because we're talking about the mind, to say, you are not getting employed. Why you are not getting employed? Are you going to kill yourself? I won't do. Exactly. And that's what we're trying to disrupt, to say you don't have to. You don't have to. You then need to look and say, I studied, it's not my fault. A limiting belief can be that I went and I studied and I've got a degree, now I can't find a job, it's my fault. And the pressure comes from home. But when you understand the system, that we are now in the skills economy, the economy is no longer absorbing people who are from the traditional universities. We are now in the skills economy. It means now you need to what? Apply leadership value proposition, which says create new capacities.
In myself.
Okay. What else are you offering?
Okay.
I'm a logistics person by profession. But now, because of these modules, I've now become an entrepreneur.
Listen.
I always said I'm a salary girl. 2013, EFF asked me to join them.
Stop.
I said no. What were my reasons?
Hey, what
my reasons were a corporate girl.
Stop.
No,
EFF wanted you to join them in what capacity?
Well, I can see EFF started in 2013. So they were recruiting and they asked me to. I featured the profile.
To be a member or to be an office bearer?
I don't know. I think that time I was not interested.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I was just like, no. I work for PNG. I'm
fancy like where?
Yes.
Okay.
We
don't do EFF.
We don't do politics. We don't even do politics. I'm a church goer. I mean, I don't do politics.
Okay.
And also, I was for multinational PNG.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guaranteed. 6 years, 10 years later. So that's the whole beautiful journey, but it's all centered on consciousness. So now these young people, you then get to say, what is it that, based on who you are, who are you? Then you go and find, when they do the module about I am, when they go and check the genealogy or the generations, then they find out that their parents were musicians, like my parents were teachers, but I'm a logistics person. So within the logistics, I've got the gift of what? Teaching. And when I stand in front of people and I'm doing a teaching moment, it is my father who comes in.
I get that.
Yes. Yeah, so then it's to solve for a problem, to say, go into a community and solve for a problem, come up with ideas. Some do waste management, the different projects. That whole journey was my healing journey, because in that, I then managed to realize that I am more than a logistics degree. I don't have to go and look for a PNG. Remember I said to you, I shouldn't have left. But then going through this, I said, okay, actually, this is a journey. And I love reading a lot. And I then picked that you've got crucibles, you've got trials and challenges, but they're all part of a beautiful package. So all these seasons are yours. We are just like nature. So summer, winter, autumn, and spring, they come and they change. So you too. And in those different seasons, you have to be appreciating and saying, what am I being taught now? So when it's winter, you wear a jacket. So when it's summer, you're now cool. So you can meet all these different people. You don't have to be stuck in your limiting belief and say, I'm a logistics person, I'm supposed to be employed. I am a girl, I am this. And there's one exercise that we do in the module, and it's based on the I am speech from President Thabo Mbeki. I am an African.
Yes.
I owe my being to the mountains, to the valleys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Palana, we cremile.
Yeah, I'm a teacher.
Okay.
At the bottom, he says, today it feels good to be African. Then we do an exercise there to say I am. And what we picked is that most people say I am, their identity is based on the work they do, on their roles. Yeah. So as soon as you say I am, blank. I'm a driver where I'm Lindo's mom. I'm this and that.
All these other things outside
external things. So I was looking at my journey from the first time I did the I am exercise with the first group, which was around 2022. And I myself was caught in the physical. say I'm a logistics manager. My ego was still convincing me, I am a logistics
Yeah, it's very
manager.
sexy to be a logistics girl.
Huh?
It's very sexy.
Not extremely, but remember, it's under corporate. Not as an entrepreneur, not as a creator. But then in this journey, then you then discover that I am a creator. I am an audience and a director of my life. I can create. I can build brands. I am a seed planted in the heart of the universe. That's the depth of consciousness, to say, I am a creator. And then you link it back to God. What does it do? It dismantles the systems, politics, religion, institutions, all these beliefs. It dismantles them. And all of a sudden you start seeing yourself as the Ubuntu model that says that I see you and I am because you are.
Okay, so you've taken us on this journey, this transformation that brings you to realizing this. And I'm guessing because of the educator heart in you, you're like, I need to take this to my people. I need to solve a problem. I need to solve this for Zerast. So how does that now take us to Lore coaching?
Yeah, lovely. So now remember, Lore has always been about, I need to give back to my people.
Yes.
Yeah. And now with that, then we start the modules. Then when the modules are the first part, then I always try to work in numbers. So then I said, okay, fine. Then let's move from the religion and from the isms. Then we are now talking business. That's the other discovery. We said, I can actually be an entrepreneur. And then let's then bring it down back to 3 aspects. Because everyone was giving me to say, Lemo, you do everything. Lemo, you do everything. And it almost hit me. But then I had to remember, I said, no. They are saying that it's that statement. What do I do? Then I had to write it down. Which was again a beautiful journey of saying, when you start opening up and inquiring and being inquisitive, things are going to come to you. That law of the universe, it really is true. So then the things that you are asking for, the networks that you are asking for, to say money flows to me effortlessly. The network, like close the doors that are not supposed to be for me. Let all harm go. So all those things, then literally it works out like that. It's not even a coincidence that you are sitting here today, but that's a different side show. So now, then I said, okay, fine, let's break it down into something that makes sense. Then I came up with 3 concepts, 3 businesses. So the most important one is the training. So remember, the registered company is the Lore at that time. So it's the training and facilitation, which is the human development. These models I just explained to you. Then the second part is that I'm a logistics person.
No Maganja.
So let's call it distribution specialist.
Got it.
Yeah. So now I just registered it. It's called adulthood distribution. Focusing on retail. Then I said, okay, fine. Then the third one, we then look into in the space, in the discovery. Then I was like, there's waste management. Because I was like, there's this whole cycle and recycling thing to say, I love education and object lessons. It's okay, fine. What happened? I get it with logistics, you send out the finished products. And now, then the reverse logistics. When those finished products are now being used, they're coming back as what? They're coming back as junk. So then I was like, no, my waste is my wealth. Then we can start educating our kids at a young age about waste and also about the environment. Then I then said, let me keep it at the 3 because the more you go into it, you pick up more ideas. So I said, okay, let me keep it at the 3. And now I've got those 3 registered businesses like that. But now, then going to the main driver is the skills development part. Then I get to Northwest and I get to understand systems. I'm studying at KIPS, by the way, the master's program for women in transport.
How fits in that? Like, how many master's degrees do you want?
No. I can hey. This one is government funded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, then in there, then I picked systems to say what is an ecosystem?
Right.
What is it? Remember, I've always traveled like overseas. I'm like, but I've never traveled local. So as part of this, I'm like, no, I then need to start a business, and then operate from Joburg, then extend. Where else can I extend? Home, that is where the heart is. And then from there, then we'll extend to Limpopo, and then make it other. But the immediate plan is Northwest and then Limpopo. Then you get into the Northwest, you realize, well, we are very deep in our culture, in our roots. agriculture farming is the thing over there. And I'm like, okay, now we can also add, from a health perspective, we can also learn agriculture. So right now I'm learning agriculture.
Wow. Lemo, you're the city that never sleeps. But this is such
I
a
do
lovely
sleep,
story.
actually. I sleep 8 hours.
Is it?
I sleep when I
I think you've set it up quite nicely. So I think maybe we take a pause, and then when we come back, we go into the skills development and how you are imparting all this to the young people so that hopefully the trajectory of their lives goes like that. Because that's what this is all about, right?
Thank you.
Awesome. When we come back.